All right. Let's see here. Let me pull up this other comment section here real quick. Maybe one day. There we go. All right. We're live. So, I have run out of black rings to work on outlining all the sections of this inlay. I guess I should change this camera angle. There you go. But there is still some like finish work I can begin to do while I wait for my tax return to get in so that I can order the rings that I need to finish this piece. So I'm going to work on this, and if y'all want to hang out, that'd be cool. My name's Sean. I run mailworks.com, where I design and sell chainmail themed apparel and accessories. And I make chainmail. And it's fun. Right now I'm working on a big project to finish up all the unfinished projects in my basement and unused pile of rings. So this is an inlay that is 20 some odd years in the making. So here, 19. It's 19 years in the making, maybe a little less. Right? But yeah. Actually, I should probably show you what I'm working on. If you've never stopped in before, this is a very large inlay. I will unfurl it for you. Now, a chainmail inlay, an inlay is just a picture. You're making a picture with rings, right? And these are anodized aluminum. This says Finnegans Wake on it with some Celtic knotwork looking design in the background. And for anyone watching on Twitch, YouTube, X, or Facebook, that's what I'm working on. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate you. So, if you see this and you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know you could make chainmail at home. I want to learn how to do that. You absolutely can. And if you go to the link tree in my bio, you can download the Mailworks app, which is an app that has all of the resources that I would have wanted when I first got started. It's just a free resource for anyone who wants to start learning. And then if you have any questions, I hop on here live 4 to 5 nights a week and just chill out and make whatever I'm working on. Right, this is 18 gauge. I think it's American wire gauge. There's two different gauge systems, there's two different gauge systems, American wire gauge and standard wire gauge. And different ring suppliers use different standards. They're not all the same. I wish that the entire industry would shift over to millimeters. Some suppliers have, but some suppliers have not. But these are 18 gauge quarter-inch rings. And there's, I don't know, 25,000 of them in this piece so far. So right now I'm just making the edge on this side a little wider. I'm going to take this out to 5 rows. I'm at 3, so I need 2 more rows on this side, and then I'm going to have to remove some off the other edge because it's too wide, and then I'll outline the whole thing in a different color of whatever rings I have left. I'm trying to save some of these green rings so I can finish this inlay. I don't want to order more green rings because when you order rings from different batches, you have a tendency to get different colors, as evidenced by this inlay that I've ordered several packages of rings from different batches, and all the green is a bunch of different colors. So, trying to avoid doing that and use up all the rest of the 18 gauge 1/4 inch anodized rings I have left. But yeah, I've finally gotten to a point on this where I feel like I'm going to be able to finish. When I started out, it was going pretty well, and then I went on another deployment, and I got married and moved, and I was working on it a little bit, and you got hooked on the Byzantine weave. I love Byzantine. A lot of people don't like it because it's a big customer request, but I find that it is one of the most versatile weaves out there. And if my son doesn't stop screaming upstairs, I'm going to beat his little hiney. But yeah, Byzantine is a fun weave. You can do a lot with it. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so I did not plan this inlay properly. Right? I didn't know how many rings I would need when I first got started. I didn't have anything mapped out. I'm working off of a drawn picture, or a blown up image from one of their business cards. And so I'm trying to finish up all the projects in my basement, put some time and effort into this, and feel like I'm finally close to finishing it. So I feel good about that. It's a great weave to do while watching videos. Yeah. That's one of the things I love about chainmail, is that you don't really have to pay a lot of attention to what you're doing. Right? If you're making a shirt, you can pop on a movie and weave a couple hundred rings, and it doesn't feel like any time has gone by or any effort's been put in. It's just open and close, weave them, watch the movie. I like to turn on, I'll get in the mood. I try to watch The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit at least once a year. And I keep all my chainmail in the basement now, but I've got a spot for a TV over that way in the wall. There's like a space in the wall for a TV. And we've never put a TV down here, but I would like to put one down here so that I can watch The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings and Kingdom of Heaven and King Arthur and whatever other chainmail movies are out there. Any tips for someone who wants to start doing this? Okay, so my first recommendation would be to go to my Linktree and download the Mailworks app. Right? The Mailworks app is a free resource, and it's a free app, and it's got all the resources I would have wanted when I first got started doing this a long time ago. It's got things like where to find tutorials, where to find suppliers, where to find groups where other chainmail people hang out, and it also has a link to my website where you can purchase my chainmail themed apparel and accessories, and that helps me continue to be able to do this. Yeah, Chainmail Joe is listed in one of the suppliers, or is listed in the suppliers section on the Mailworks app. They have a brilliant starter kit. I think it's like $100. But that's my next recommendation, right? Is go to one of the suppliers. Doesn't matter which one. We've Got Mail, Metal Designs, Chainmail Joe. Not all of them sell kits, but a few of them do. And go buy a kit. You can get the Chainmail Joe one, or the maybe you just want to make a bracelet, right? And their kits should come with tutorials and supplies. The Chainmail Joe one comes in a beautiful box. I believe that they have both bright aluminum and anodized aluminum kits, but I'm not sure. But I would buy a kit before I would go and try and figure out what ring sizes you're going to order randomly. Right? That is what I would do. I think one of the biggest things is figure out what pliers work best for you. Yes. Well, that's another thing too. I don't typically recommend buying pliers straight away, right? Like if you're just getting started, go find some pliers laying around the house. Get yourself a blunt nose, pair of pliers, and a pair of needle nose. And these have served me well. These are not professional chainmail pliers by any stretch of the imagination, right? These are from my grandpa. Well, this one's from my grandpa. This is from like Lowe's, Husky brand. Okay. These have served me well for years. Okay. Before I bought specialty pliers. Specialty pliers include pliers like Wubbers. And I've got Zurons here. And in the tools section in the Mailworks app is a bunch of recommendations for what pliers to get. But it is, if you decide that you love doing chainmail and you want to do it for a long time, it is well worth the money to buy some pliers that are more specific to chainmail. So I would download the Mailworks app. I would look at all the suppliers pages, find a kit that works for you, find some crappy pliers laying around the house, and put your kit together. And then if you decide that you like it, join some of the groups, start learning about different weaves and different projects you can make. The reality is that the learning curve for making chainmail is, it's really steep, but it levels off really quickly, right? Once you get the basics down, I've seen people go from just learning to making stuff I never would have thought of in a million years in less than 3 months. You've been using regular flat bead pliers and the bent nose that came with your kit. Oh, I did not know that pliers came with the Chainmail Joe kit. That's awesome. See that? It's a very well put together kit. It's like I don't have any reason to buy one except for the box, right? That's all I want. Okay, I've been doing this for 28 years. I know what ring sizes I want to order for the most part, or where to find the information to go and get them. I don't need some pre-assembled package, put together for me. I had to learn my mistake, right? My mistake is that I'm currently sifting through all the basement projects that have been laying around for forever, and a lot of those are rings that I ordered a large amount of in a size that isn't readily useful, and in materials that aren't readily useful for nice chainmail projects. So don't do what I've done. Learn from my mistake. You can forgo the pliers in the Chainmail Joe kit for about $12 cheaper, but $12 isn't bad for 2 pair. That's not bad at all. I'll have to go look at their kit to get more specifics on it. And I'm more than 100% willing to shill Chainmail Joe. They've got a good reputation. People have been very happy. with all of their materials, so it's like, yeah, I would love to just direct everyone to my website, you know, but that is not the prerogative. I do want to introduce people to the idea of making chainmail. Why do people keep asking me if I can make a basketball hoop? I can make a basketball hoop. Am I going to? Probably not. I mean, the amount of... It's one of those things where it wouldn't make sense for me to buy one. Or it wouldn't make sense for me to make one because A, they're cheaper to buy, and B... Is that King's Mail on your wrist? No, on my wrist is... I've got my dual... It's a Byzantine bracelet with 2 strands of Byzantine, and then this is... I can't get my wrist up there. This is interwoven 4-in-1. I love interwoven 4-in-1. Next to Byzantine, it's probably my favorite weave. Alright, so where was I? I don't remember. Yeah, no. It would be cheaper to make a basketball, or it would, words are hard. It would be cheaper to just go buy a basketball hoop than it would be for me to make one. I don't know why people are asking that, but whatever. So, I hope that answers your question. Who was that? Asking Lord Link 121. So, another thing you can avoid is, by learning from me, is if you plan on making an inlay, do not skip on prep work, okay? Don't work off a picture unless it's a very simple inlay. Straight lines and everything. Because freehanding a large inlay like this, as I've been attempting to do, just was very discouraging, took me a very long time, and even now, right, I don't know if I have enough rings to finish this project. So use a friendly program like Irregular Grid Painter and map out your whole map out the completed project. Know how many rings of each color you're going to need beforehand, and order all the rings in one batch, from one batch. Because this project should have been done a long, long time ago. But it is what it is. Lots of projects should have been done a long time ago. And to be frank, I'm just glad I'm getting to a point where I can almost finish it. So I do have to order some more black rings, but the screen section that I'm working on is fairly straightforward. So do you have to send in your own set of rings to match? I don't believe that can be done. It can be attempted, but my understanding, so I'm working with anodized aluminum. It is a chemical anodization process. And my understanding is that every batch is different, right? So you might be able to get a manufacturer to attempt to match whatever color of rings you have. I don't know if they would do that. I don't know if they can do that. I would have to ask them. Now, with electroanodizing for like titanium and niobium, same thing. I don't know if that can be matched or what, but I think suppliers can come close, but I don't know. So I've never sent in anodized rings to be matched. Now I know that Josh Diliberto of joshuadiliberto.com will size match rings, but I think he exclusively works with stainless and titanium. I don't think he does anodized aluminum. So none of these rings match in color. They're all different colors at this point. I'm hoping I have enough left in this to finish off the bottom of this inlay and then try and not have to order any more green rings. We'll see. Any tips for stainless before you make the switch from anodized aluminum? Make sure you have pliers that you can work stainless with. So stainless, anything 18 gauge or smaller with the Zurons works pretty well. For 16 gauge and more, I use just the heavy duty pliers I've used forever, but these have teeth, so might try finding some pliers that have a flattened nose. Understand that the larger the ring size in stainless, the more difficult it is going to be open and close rings, so make sure you have a good set of pliers. I think, is it Lindemans? I'd have to ask what the other name of this pair of pliers is, or this plier brand. I don't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, I wouldn't use Zurons on 16 gauge. Hey Justin, how you doing? I use the heavy duty pliers, and my 16 gauge rings are old and kind of, I'm not making stuff for sale with them, so I can use the pliers with teeth. But moving forward, right, like I want to use up all the aluminum in my basement to focus solely on like stainless, sterling silver, gold, titanium. Because I want to make some higher end pieces, and I want to use high end materials for that. So I'll be ordering new pliers myself here pretty soon. When you make chains out of the anodized aluminum, it just feels cheap. You like gold? I like gold too. It's very expensive to work with, but one of the goals by the end of the year is to have my own coiling and cutting setup. So I will make my own rings for that to help cut down on the cost, but it's gold. It's going to be expensive. Largely because of what Ron said, right? Anodized aluminum feels cheap. And at the end of the day, aluminum is aluminum, right? It is cheap. So I don't want to sound like I'm knocking anyone who makes, costume jewelry out of it. But it's a cheap base metal, and it is what it is. Also, like, I see people make wallet chains out of anodized aluminum, and I definitely do not recommend that. That just... It's not... Okay, it's an item that sees a lot of strain on it when you wear it. And... you know, of course, the larger you buy, or the larger you make the gauge that you're working with, and the smaller the diameter of the rings, you know, it'll be stronger. But it's never going to be as strong as steel. It's a soft metal. Can you show me what she was talking about, that bracelet? Justin, what I was talking to you about? So, I don't know if this will pick it up. Can you see the rub off in the middle there? Okay. All of this is stainless steel, except for these two prongs right here on either side. Does that make sense? So, that's why, like, I've made all the bracelets I've made using this style, and I'm moving to a different style, which is more like this one, where everything on this is stainless. Does that answer your question? So it's just that one spot. I wear mine. I'm not going to let it bother me. I'm going to sell what bracelets I have and then switch over to the new style. Single strand bracelets. Not as cool, but it is a cool clasp and it's good enough. But yeah, I like anodized aluminum because of the color. I do. You can make a lot of cool looking stuff with them. I like to use it specifically for static pieces. Pieces that are not going to move around and scuff up the rings. And this is my preference. Plenty of people use anodized aluminum for dice bags and costume jewelry, and it's fine, right? But the reality is that there are better metals to work with that have... If I'm going to spend time to make something, I want it to last the next 200, 300 years. So that's my goal. And with anodized aluminum, the anodization chips rubs off, UV exposure causes it to fade. And this takes time for it to happen, but it does happen. I do want my customers to be satisfied with the products I make for them. I haven't had too many complaints. I had one necklace repair because my friend's dog chewed up her necklace. So, that's not normal damage. But yeah, I want people to be able to purchase an item that they can pass down. I want an item that can be displayed in a gallery. Hence why the move towards precious metals. And also, it's a bit of a challenge, right? Like, I'm not a jeweler, but what is the best piece that I can make? You know? What is the highest quality type of object that I can make? I've been doing this for a long time. And I've done good work and I've done bad work. But I know most of the mistakes that you can run into. And if I force myself to do the prep work on everything, I should be able to churn out some pretty decent things that will last a really long time. So, and that's, you know, there are people who figured this out much quicker than me, right? And they do really high-end, high-quality work, and they're much cooler than me. And a lot of them are a lot prettier than me. It's the beauty of chainmail. Most mistakes are easily fixable. Yeah. Most. There are some mistakes in chainmail that are a couple hours of work. I've made plenty of those too. But the reality is that it is fixable most of the time. Thank you for the follow. All right. So I don't know if anyone in here was hanging out and has watched previous videos where we've discussed large chainmail cubes, right? I have another 3 pounds of this ring size coming, and I had a video go viral. Everybody wanted a jelly cube. I pointed them to other chainmail artists that take custom requests and stuff, but I do have 3 more pounds of this stuff. I can make another, okay. I could have made a bunch of smaller cubes and try to sell them one at a time. But as you can see, I didn't start on one small cube. This is quite a large start for any cube, so I'm gonna end up making one large cube, and I might raffle it off. So if any of you are interested, stick around, because be sure to drop a follow and get something cool like this, but even larger than this, right? This is 14 rows by 14 by 14, and I think I'll have enough rings to do 18 or 16 rows. And by rows, I mean, if you look closely, each row is comprised of 2 layers, right? So if I said that this is 13 across, it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Does that make sense? So drop a follow, like, share if you want to, at some point, get the opportunity to participate in a raffle for a large jelly cube. And most people do not part with their large cubes. Once you start getting over 10 rows, right? Like, the person who made it's not going to give that up. And they're not going to make themselves another one. Not always the case, but it will be rare when you find someone willing to give up a large cube, just because they are a tremendous amount of work. Thank you for the heart. Appreciate you. But yeah, I think that video's at 1.8 million views, which is awesome. And there's easily 100 people in there that were asking for one. And I pointed everyone over to some other creators who do custom work and take requests. And I had a bunch of these rings coming. So I'm going to make a large cube, and then I might raffle it off. I just want to make another large cube. I've got some more rings. We've got some more rings for this one, so I'll be adding to that pretty soon. I want to get this to 20 rows. So 20 by 20 by 20, right? And I basically have to triple the number of rings that are in this. There's like 14,000 rings in this so far. And I think a 20 by 20 by 20 cube takes 44,000 rings. So I got a long way to go, but got more rings for it. We'll work on that eventually. Raffle is a great idea. Hey, Sir Guido, how you doing? After you liked your Jelly Cube video, a bunch of chainmail artists popped up on your FYP. Right on. Right on. I follow a bunch of chainmail artists, and you should follow most of them, I think. I can't think of anyone you shouldn't follow. Not that I would like, oh, you shouldn't follow that person. I'm not here to besmirch anybody. Don't get me wrong, I definitely have my personal thoughts, but no one on this, everyone on this platform is great, so. You've got to get one of my hoodies? Yeah, you do. The current, what have I got up? We got like a athletic, lightweight fabric hoodie. And then the giant snug hoodie. And what I need to do is put all my projects down and get to work on the computer. Because my hoodie collection, I was having problems with it, and so I took them down, but I've been meaning to put them back for at least 6 months as far as the run-of-the-mill hoodies that I designed. So, and then I need to make more designs. And then I need to update the Mailworks app, and then I need to do 100,000 other things, but it is a great community. I do appreciate that about the chainmail community. There are, as with any group, it's got its characters, but I think for the most part, I'm friends with most of the chainmail artists. I like them. I think they like me, so. Some of the people, like, I don't make, like, really highly technical stuff. Right? Like, not really. You can look at what I make and figure it out. There are people who I have trouble looking at what they've done and saying, oh my gosh, I would never know how to do that, right? There are just impressive chainmail artists, like Brilliant Twisted Skulls. Brilliant Twisted Skulls posted a Raven's Braid cross. I'd never even heard of Raven's Braid, but instantly, first person in the comments was like, oh, is there a tutorial for this? And I would need a tutorial for that too, right? But there have been people who I post something and they ask me for a tutorial. And I'm like, no, I'm not in the tutorial business. And I don't want to knock them, but it seems like every time someone posts something, whether it's really complex or whether it's really simple, like my stuff, they're like, oh, tutorial. I'm like, dude, chill, man. So, anyway, I get kind of like, just have some, I don't know, etiquette. Yeah, I'm pretty cool. Thanks. I think you're pretty cool too. Your eyes go crossed every time you try to figure out Karen's. Yeah. Mine too. She's pretty badass. Do I have her book? I think it's her book. Let's see here. Yeah. So for everyone on Twitch, X, Advanced Chainmail Jewelry Workshop. Yeah. By Karen. And this is fun. Got a lot of good stuff in here. Ooh, interwoven 4-in-1. One of my favorite weaves, right? That's this bracelet, the large cuff bracelet right there. Two-tone GSG sheet. Right? Beautiful. Beautiful. It's a good one. Anyway, good resource to have. I want more books, not because I need them, just because I collect chainmail stuff, right? It bugs you when people can't use the resources that are out there. Bingo. I'm not saying don't ask for a tutorial. It's just like every time there's a post, someone's asking for a tutorial. It's like, what is going on? So other than that, and outside of a few characters that, you know, every group has, the chainmail community is pretty solid. I like all of the groups that I'm a part of. All of the groups listed in the Mailworks app are all cool. I don't think that's every chainmail group out there, but that's most of them. What rings am I using? Yeetus, I'm using currently 18 gauge 1/4 inch rings from the Ring Lord. These are anodized aluminum. Everyone generally points to the same 2 or 3 resources. Yeah, I mean, there's like the big resources out there that you have to go and delve through, and it's just up to each person to determine how much time they want to dedicate to doing that. But the more you do it, the better you get. I'll tell you that right now. You do chainmail jewelry? Right on. How long have you been making chainmail? You've been using Chainmail Joe? It's a good resource. Did you buy, like... Did you recently start with their beginner kit? Because we were just talking about that. Or have you been making chainmail for a long time? Chainmailing feels like a self-improvement journey? Okay, so, true story. I went to Iraq twice. And it was a little weird. And I was a little weird when I got back. And kind of just focus on and do. And then when I'm done, I have a finished product. Like, I don't know, an awesome jelly cube. Right? It definitely helped with any type of PTSD or depressive issues. Or you've been doing it for about 2 years? Right on. And I took, like, I've got a TBI, and I've got some, I have cervical radiculopathy and a chronic pinched nerve in my right side of my neck. And so, like, I can't lift my arm, like, over my head real well. Like, I can do it, but it hurts, and... like, if you put any force, downward pressure, like, I can't hold my arm up there. Right? So, chainmail has definitely helped with that. Like, not worrying about a physical limitation. You really enjoy the zen feeling of mailing? Just kind of zone out? Yeah. We were talking about that earlier. I want to get a TV down here so I can watch The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and Kingdom of Heaven and King Arthur and the any other, you know, medieval chainmail movie. I tried to watch The Hobbit the other day, and I've got, what is it called? Voodoo. And it was raining, and it kept stopping. So I got through the first 2 movies, and I did not get to finish it. I did not get to finish the 3rd Hobbit movie, and I didn't get to watch any of the Lord of the Rings. So my annual Lord of the Rings viewing has not occurred this year. Get help when you need it? Yeah. Keep an eye out. My dad had to get his 5, 6, and 7 vertebrae removed. He's a combat engineer specialist. Yeah, I'm not going to let the VA operate on me. So, yeah. Yeah, Braveheart's a good one. 13th Warrior is a just underrated cult classic. If you haven't seen it, you should. Yeah, it would be a cold day in hell before I let the VA cut on me. They wanted to. Because I have 2 discs out of place so badly. They're like, yeah, we have to go in and fix this. I'm like, bro, there ain't no way. So I will deal with the migraines that come with my neck issues. Because I am an RN. I was an RN for the last 10 years and an LPN 10 years before that, right? And I have dealt with people who have had spine surgeries and neck surgeries, and I've seen the success rate, or the lack of, and what those guys go through. No thank you. All right. So fortunately, I'm not, like, my meds wipe me out a lot. Like, if you don't see me on here, I'm either doing family stuff or just not feeling up to streaming. Like, I have bad days just like anyone else. But I try to be on here most nights. It's tolerable. Thank you. What's another? I'm trying to think. Okay, 13th Warrior. Great movie. Right? You don't have to like it. I like it. And if you're like me, you'll like it. I haven't watched Braveheart in a while. I did recently watch all the Lethal Weapons. It's like for some reason, my wife turned on One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And then after that, it recommended Lethal Weapon. And so I just sat there and watched all the Lethal Weapons. And then I've recently watched Patriot and We Were Soldiers. But I have not watched Braveheart in a hot minute. So, once I get my TV down here, which is not a priority, right? There are other more important things to purchase than a TV. But I do have a tax return coming, so maybe I'll pick that up. But yeah, when I get a TV down there, I'll have to be sure to put that on my list of movies that I can just chill to, that I've seen 1,000 times. I'm going to have just playing over there. The whole basement's wired for sound, so previous homeowner, when they really did a number on the basement, right? Like, my dryer is in the middle of the basement, and the dryer tubing it was 36 feet long. Now it's down to 30 feet from the outer wall, right? Those fans in the back of a dryer to push lint out of the dryer tube are not rated for 36 feet of dryer vent tubing. but whatever. Having the dryer in the middle of the basement was a terrible idea. Wiring the basement for sound all around, good idea. Yeah, okay. If you have never seen the 13th Warrior, right? But you have seen King Arthur with Clive Owen, and you like it, not because it's a historically accurate portrayal of anything that happened or that it's even that great of a movie. It's just one of those movies you enjoy. Then you'll like the 13th Warrior. It's just kind of this like weird movie that, you know, I don't know why it exists, but it does, and it's kind of good, and I just like turning it on and watching it. I forget the name. Not Bill Skarsgård, who plays it, right? So, and then he's playing in The Crow. So not him, but the Skarsgård that played in the Marvel movies. He's in King Arthur as he's the bad guy Viking that King Arthur turns back, right? Anyway, it's just, they're fun movies. So, I do need, see here, I need a electric anodizing device. Gonna grab one of those this year. Got a couple tools for riveting that I want to get. Want to have my own coil and cutting setup, probably out in the shed. And it's warming up, so I've got some outside projects I got to do that's going to take away from my time in here, but I'm going to try and get some honeydews done this summer. So I don't know how long that's going to take me. So I've got some power tools, and the wife wants a shelves built around the fireplace on either side and over the mantle. So I've got to figure that out. So that'll take up some of my time this summer, but I should be able to do that. And I got to build a table in the shed to mount a vise on. Someone said, who was it? Who's back up here? Was it? Yeah, I don't know. I thought I saw someone say, and I don't know why I'm thinking about it now and didn't respond to it when I saw it, but I thought I saw someone say that they wanted to get a whole forge set up in their backyard. And that is, like, I would love to do that, but it's going to have to be like a quasi-mobile forge and anvil setup, because my shed is small. I don't have a place to store that stuff in the yard. I would like to get 2 10-foot Connexes. You know, the big shipping containers? Not the real long ones, but the short ones. And then put a roof over the top of those. That way I could store everything and have a sheltered area to work. I'm pretty sure my HOA would get insanely pissed about that, but to hell with them. I don't care. So if I don't do that, then I will eventually either move the shed or tear it down and put up a proper shop of sorts. One day. I'm going to have to sell a lot of t-shirts to get to that point. So go buy a t-shirt so that I can build a shop in my backyard. You know what I should go investigate? I wonder if there's a government grant for shops for wounded vets. I'll have to look that up. I want a home improvement project. I really don't. I realize that there are services out there to help me, and people like me, but I am not as bad off as some, and so I try not to use, especially a service that takes donations to help out wounded vets. Right? I'm making a large inlay. Excuse me. Let me show it to you. It says Finnegans Wake, or at least that's what it's going to say when it's done. Yeah, make and sell a whole lot of jelly cubes. Yeah. It's going to look like this when it's finished. How are you, Brian? Right now I'm just filling in some space because I can work on this while I'm waiting for rings to show up so that I can finish the design on it. Yeah, Ron, that'd be funny. Just start making jelly cubes exclusively. Maybe not this year, but next year. Once I get all my basement projects done, then I will be making more stuff for sale specifically. But I want to get all this stuff done and out of the way. And we'll have jelly cubes and hacky sacks and earrings and bracelets and necklaces and I don't know what else. And that's only half of it. The other half is sculptures that I'm working on. So I made a video about my sculptures the other day, and they're getting better, right? It's not something I've spent a lot of time exploring, but I have some ideas for some really cool stuff that I want to get to. Some really cool ringception pieces. And then I want to make large sculpture pieces that will sell for tremendous amounts of money. Thank you for the follow. Oh, why did I do that? Come here, you. So, all goals for the future. I want to make some riveted shirts too. I think that would be really awesome. Just make everything as high-end as I can make it. Ugh. I was watching another creator earlier, one of their videos, going over the whole process that they use. And like, I feel like I've been doing this a long time. I'm pretty good, right? I don't know everything, but I can make a quality finished product. But the level of expertise that this creator happens to put into her work it's impressive. And I want to be able to say, like, you know, at the end of making something that I put a tremendous amount of energy into something and it came out damn good, you know? So I'll get there. I'll get there. Actually got a decent amount of this done. What time is it? 9:30. Oh, that means that the TikTok live is going to have a fit in a second. I started at 8:30. It's now 9:30, and it usually makes me like slide a little puzzle piece over to verify that I'm still live, so I don't know why it does that, but it's annoying because it's caught me off guard and I didn't see it. And then it shuts down my TikTok stream if I don't catch it. All right. So what? Keep the bots out? Yeah. Oh, I get the rationale, you know, behind them doing it. It took, the first time it happened, I was like, why would they do that? And then I thought about it, and I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. So, all right. How was everyone's Easter weekend? Did you guys spend time with family? We stayed home. We didn't go anywhere. Everyone's recovering from being sick, and we didn't want to... Well, we didn't have the energy to spend somewhere else, to be honest. Made her mom a Celtic Visions lanyard for work. Right on. Celtic Vision. I had a coffee cup wrapped in Celtic Vision sheet, I think it was called. Yeah, I didn't do much this weekend. I got some work done today. Well, no, that's not true. I finished this weird-ass sculpture, right? Here. This thing. Sorry, my foot's numb. Hang on, I'll show you. Oh my god, okay. So I finished this thing, right? And it's got some waves on it. It's got some texture to it. It's kind of cool. It's kind of something. I need to tumble the whole piece because it needs to be shined up. There's like shiny parts from the new rings and then dull aluminum from the rest. So I think I finished this on like Friday or something. And I'm going to put something in here. I'm going to use this as a display base, right? Not this, right? But something, a large piece that I might already be working on. I don't know. But it was, there's 6 waves, right? And it was 5. And so I expanded it out one more wave, and it gave it just the looseness I needed to make it, like, useful. So I did finish that. And it's, yeah. It's not a perfect piece. It didn't end up the way I thought it would in the, when I started. It was actually supposed to be a dice bag, I wish I could still make my mom stuff. My mom liked my stuff. Oh, there's the puzzle piece. There it is. I made my mom a couple bracelets and a necklace and some earrings, and she liked it all. But she passed away about 5 years now. Yeah, I can put my bowling ball on there. Exactly. And so I don't get to make her stuff anymore. Yeah, she was like, when you are someone who makes handmade stuff, right? And this isn't everyone and this isn't all the time, but it's very difficult to get friends and family to support you in what you're doing with your time. Right? Your dad passed away in 2018? Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, when you make handmade stuff or you work from home or you're some kind of entrepreneur, right? No one you know is going to believe in you or support you. And they're never going to be good customers for you a lot of the time. Not all the time. Sometimes you will have someone who likes what you do and purchases stuff from you for themselves and for other people. But I can count on, it might take me 2 hands, the number of people I know in real life who have purchased something for me. And I hear that story echoed throughout the handmade community. So I know it's not just me. But if you find someone who supports you in what you're doing, keep them close. For they are valuable beyond measure. But yeah, no. I've got a bowling ball. We actually have 2 in the house. We don't bowl very often enough. We don't bowl often enough to have 2 bowling balls, but we have 2. Your mom does beadwork, so it's nice to have family that knows artisan etiquette. Right on. Yes, it is helpful when other people who do handmade stuff, you know, are cheering you on, spitting ideas back and forth, and you should get a crystal ball for it. Yeah, that'd be cool. I should do that. What does a crystal ball cost? How large are they? You need like a 14-inch crystal ball. Let's see here. 14-inch crystal ball. Crystal sphere, 14-inch. Crystal sphere, 14-inch natural carved quartz, $12,000. All right, I'll keep that tab open and I'll look for a crystal ball. I'm sure a regular glass crystal ball. I don't have a need for a real one, but I'm sure I can find an option for not $12,000. Yeah, I got a pirate. I got some Frank Frazetta artwork. Got a bunch of chainmail and leather stuff laying around. A crystal ball would fit right in. Let's get one of those scarves to tie around my head and come down here and read people's fortunes as they visit the bar. I have an aunt that's into that, like tarot reading and stuff. An aunt, a cousin. She's not my aunt. She is my second cousin. Very nice lady. I have never been into any of that myself. But she gave us all a tarot reading once. And I don't remember what mine said, because I thought this was weird. And I was like 7, so I don't know. Some of those tarot card decks are really cool. Yeah. Yup. Who was it that like I have a pirate deck of cards around here somewhere. But I want to say it was Patrick Rothfuss back when he was occasionally streaming on Twitch and vlogging all the time, or blogging, whatever he was doing that was not writing his 3rd book. I want to say he had a deck of cards that were designed based off of the Name of the Wind. And that was a really cool deck, and I don't remember for the life of me who designed it. It was a company, obviously, that put it together for him, but it was really cool. And I think they sold out before I had a chance to get one. But that was the last deck of cards that I had any interest in. I've got, free cell on my computer. Well, not anymore, I guess. Solitaire on my phone. I don't really need a deck of cards, but... And tarot decks are, like I said, it's never something I've been exposed to beyond that one reading by my cousin. But you can, it doesn't matter what it is. Once you start putting effort into something, you can usually make anything pretty cool. Right? One of the groups of people that just never ceases to amaze me is the cosplay community. They will turn a handful of dirt into part of their costume and make it look awesome with some EVA foam and some spray paint. And yeah. And it's like, how did you just do that? So I've been watching the Dodo cosplay. She's got this... It's one of the people from... Or one of the characters from... oh no, I don't remember the name of the game. It's a video game. It's a woman with like spikes all over and wings. You're glad you found a hobby that isn't computer hardware? Yeah. I have that hobby too. That's in the other room. I don't want that hobby. I don't want anything to do with computers ever. But here I am, streaming on the internet. It is... Oh, gosh. Okay, it's like the 4th version... Or 5th version of a game. Not Grand Theft Auto, right? It's a game that takes place in a dungeon, and there's demons, and it's not Doom, but I think they're in hell. And it came out like last year. Anyway, she has this amazing cosplay of that, and then another amazing cosplay. And it's the Dodo cosplay, right? And she's got a book out about how she made her costumes. You have a 14900K with a 4090 on a custom loop. Ugh. What are you doing with that? I actually have to build another computer. So I do a lot of rendering because the designs I make are all three-dimensional. They're made on the computer. I've used a couple different programs right now. Couple different programs that I've used. And the larger the images get, the more memory they take, right? And so I started out with 4 gigs of RAM, and then I upgraded to 16 gigs of RAM, which was amazing. And then I ran out, I got bigger than that, bigger designs, and I have 32 gigs of RAM in my laptop right now, and it's not enough memory for my latest design, which was this big Veg Vizier design, right? And if you don't know what a Veg Vizier is, it's like this North Compass looking design with a bunch of runes around it, and it's Viking Norse pagan symbol thing, right? You can use it for your machine learning homework, so there's that. Nice. You need to play a little Cyberpunk. Right on. So, anyway, the design takes too much memory for my computer. I need to build out a larger one, but for the time being, I'm going to have to make smaller designs than my computer can handle, because I don't even think a 4090 would handle the amount of memory that I need. But I've never done GPU rendering because it's just a laptop. So, but I have some other GPU cards on my other computers, and they were unable to do as much as the 32 gigs on this computer. So I'm just going to make a computer with as much RAM as I can. We'll get there. We'll get there one day. So, and then here's the thing. I talk a lot about like what I'm working on, what my plans are, how I plan on improving things in the future, to make better designs. You know, what I want to do with my store and all that stuff. And it feels like even if I get all that done, that I'll still have like plans for more stuff in the future, which I suppose is a good thing. It's like even if I make a computer with a giant amount of RAM that can handle all of my designs, how long will that be good for until it's not, you know? And then once I have, you know, an anodizing setup, a coiling and cutting setup, I've already got a welding setup, but a riveting setup, right? Once I add all those pieces, how long, you know, what comes after that, right? Like the forge and anvil out in the backyard, and then I'm gonna need a bigger shop, and then, you know, always be punching that glass ceiling, yeah. You game on ultra wide, the game's kind of unoptimized for that, yeah. Yup. Okay. Games on ultra wide are unoptimized, not optimized for large amounts of RAM, and they're better with the GPU, right? That's what you're saying. I don't game, right? The last game I played was Tears of the Kingdom. I saw the new Harry Potter game. I was like, oh, I want to play that. I went out and bought a PS5, and it was supposed to come with God of War Ragnarok, but the little coupon or the redeem code was supposed to be in the box, and it wasn't. And so I never got God of War Ragnarok. So I paid $160 to get PlayStation Plus, and I downloaded a couple games and played them for a little bit. But then I received Tears of the Kingdom as a, I think it was for Father's Day, or it was like before the start of the summer last year, I think. Maybe it was for my birthday. Maybe it was middle of the summer. And so I had this PlayStation with PlayStation Plus, and I got this game on the Switch, and I spent the next 3 months playing Tears of the Kingdom. And I just used my very expensive PlayStation that doesn't even have the retro or the playback ability for PlayStation 1 and 2 games. I don't even have that. Right? I just got you can download the game to the PlayStation. That's all I got. So, you still need to finish Breath of the Wild? Yeah. I was out of gaming for so long. Like, my nephew was telling me about Majora's Mask and Breath of the Wild, and the last Zelda game I played was Twilight Princess on the Wii, which is not downloadable to the Switch, which I thought was dumb. You're just rationalizing your $1,600 GPU to yourself. You probably would have been happy with a 4080. Yeah. No. I still have my Wii too. And it works, and I still have Twilight Princess, but I'm liking how, like, at least with PlayStation and the Switch, right? There's programs that you can, or there is a setup so that you can play older games. And they play older games, right? So you can like download the older game, or you can just play the older game, right? Like, I love that fact. Wind Waker was your first Zelda game that you beat. Mine was Ocarina of Time. I've got a Ocarina of Time poster right there. These are 18 gauge quarter-inch rings. Yeah, Ocarina of Time was... My friend introduced me to it. I did not have a... What did that come on? Oh, it was an N64. I never had an N64. And so when I moved out of my parents, got a place of my own, he brought his Nintendo 64 over, and I played Ocarina of Time until I finally beat the game. But yeah, bought a PlayStation, ended up playing a Switch for like 3 months, and then haven't played a game since. I've been busy working on stuff. It's really hard for me to sit down and not, like, I can sit down and zone out on social media, but it's hard for me to watch a movie or play a video game. Even social functions are hard. Because I'm like, okay, I gotta go home, and I gotta weave some rings together. It's never, oh, I gotta go home and feed the dog and do the laundry. It's no, I gotta go home and weave these rings together. Even if I've been weaving for 3 or 4 days straight, I have a problem. I try to take as few breaks as possible, but still enjoy life, and while chainmail is the number one thing I want to do. It's not the only thing I want to do. I do try and spend time with the family and raise my child. And you're a hobby extrovert and a hard introvert, so that stuff. Yeah, I don't leave my house, right? I go grocery shopping. What else? I don't have to leave my house. I go grocery shopping, and that's like get gas, drop my kid off to school, pick him up, right? I want to spend time making stuff. I don't necessarily want to be down here. An introvert. I don't know if I'm an introvert or I just don't want to be around people anymore. Right? I was social as a kid. And I think the world cured me of being social. So, you know, present company excluded. You guys are all right. But everyone else out there in the world. But no. It's like I'd just rather sit here, you know, watch some YouTube, listen to some podcasts, sit, you know, work on projects, make stuff. That's why you love New York when you went there. You just go on a mission and nobody cares about your business. I've never been to New York. I will probably never go to New York. I don't fly. So if I did go to New York, I would have to drive there. And that doesn't sound fun. My wife keeps asking me, she's like, we should go on a trip or on a cruise or something. I'm like, do we have to fly there? Yeah, we could go do that. Not going. It's like, I've been on enough planes at this point. I would like to go and I would go and fly out and see my brother. He lives in Japan, which is a very long flight. But I would do that because he flies from Japan to come home to visit us every now and then. I would like to go see Japan because my brother's out there. I would do that for him. I would get on a plane for him. But as far as like flying down to, like, I'm not going on a boat either. I'm not going on a cruise. So I'm not a curmudgeon. I am just, yeah, no. No driving in New York for you either? Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to drive there. It's like the last time I had to go anywhere, I drove from, well, I took the Harley from Wisconsin to Colorado and back. That was a good trip. But my dad got sick a couple years ago. I had to drive home. So it takes about 2 days, 12 hours each day to get from here to Idaho. So it's not terrible. Make a stop in the western side of South Dakota. You want to go to Japan too? You're trying to learn Japanese for when you go? Right on. Yeah, my brother lives out there. I've got a half Japanese, half American nephew. He's got a lovely Japanese wife. And they send us cool pictures of all the cool stuff they do. So I'm not opposed to going while my brother lives out there, but if he's not out there, I don't have any other reason to go, you know. All right, where are we at here? We got a significant amount done. This is from from here to here, basically, for this corner. Which I realize is kind of boring, but it's like I'm doing the finishing up, and I'll get some more done probably. I don't know what I'm working on tomorrow. I need to finish my saddlebags. So I need to finish the second saddlebag. I would like to get that done this week. We'll see what happens. I may spend another day on this. Right? So this is my Finnegans Wake inlay. That's what we're working on here. We just got done with that bottom left corner. Right down this section down here. It's looking pretty good so far. For people on other platforms. Ooh, that corner right there is what we're working on. So it's kind of turning into something. We're making it look pretty good. I've got to order some more black rings for it for the outline of everything, but that's coming. We'll get there. We can roll it this side. So, all right. Let me roll this up here. For anyone watching, if you saw chainmail, he's making that a home. Crazy. And you want to learn how to do it, go to the link tree in my bio. There's a link to the Google and Apple store and for the Mailworks app. And the Mailworks app has all the resources I would have wanted when I first got started making chainmail 28 years ago. And it's free. There is a link to my store on there. My store is mailworks.com. And you can go there if you want to support me. When you purchase products from there, it helps directly to keep me doing this. It is my livelihood at this point. So, thank you for everyone who's purchased something from the store. If you are looking for someone to make some chainmail for you, go and download the Mailworks app. And in the artists section is a group of artists who all take custom requests, all have stuff already made and available for purchase listed on their website, and love new customers. So, thanks for hanging out. My name's Sean. I'm usually on here 8:30 to 10 Central Standard Time most nights of the week, and I'm trying to make that as regular as possible, but life does come up, and I do have a family to take care of and pay attention to, so it's not every night, but it is most nights. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out. I do appreciate you being here. I look forward to hanging out with you later. You all have a wonderful evening, and I will talk to you next time. Have a good night.